Hey, do we have an opener for today?
No, that's your job.
Welcome to GayTalk 2.0, the ultimate podcast for your dose of dish.
We're back, and you're probably thinking, thanks for the warning, but yes, we are back. Welcome back to another episode of GayTalk 2.0, an LGBT podcast. We're streaming live on gaytalk20.com/live stream, where you can access the live stream every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you can do so by just simply visiting our website. My name is Tom, and I'm your host, and as always, I'm in the studio with my amazing co-host, starting with the first one.
Hey, y'all, Nick or Trish.
And
J Bear, a.k.a. your boyfriend's boyfriend.
you got something stuck in there.
A little bit.
Welcome you all to the dish. So what have you been doing, loco?
Fighting allergies.
Is that what you want to call it?
That's what we're going to call it.
It sounded like a ball of something.
Yeah.
Got balls in your mouth. But anyway, we took off last week, so just to let you know, it's been crazy busy at work for me. And unfortunately, I had to, last minute, tell the boys, hey, listen, I can't log off. I'm in the middle of something, so we're just going to have to cancel this week. And so that's why it was my fault that you didn't get an episode last week. But nonetheless, we're back. So I got the boys here. Nick is doing something on his computer. Not sure exactly what it is, but...
Oh, great give shit.
Oh, the great give. Gotcha. But anyway, so up a little bit. There we go.
You raise me up.
I raise you up. So Trish, how are you, darling?
I'm good.
I haven't seen you. Oh my God, I feel like in forever. You took a trip recently.
I did.
How was Grindr?
I don't know, but I went to Columbus. I didn't have time for Grindr, but she went to Columbus, Ohio.
Well, that's wonderful. And how was Columbus?
It was a good time. I went to the Kappa Columbus Gala.
Nice.
And
Okay.
I saw Ali Stroker perform.
Ali Stroker. Really?
So Ali Stroker was in Glee.
Okay.
She was the girl in the wheelchair.
Oh, okay.
And she just recently, pre-pandemic, won the Tony for Oklahoma.
Oh, nice.
Which
nice.
Oklahoma originated at the Schubert Theater. So full circle kind of a thing. But she was amazing.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting weekend. So I left on Friday of last week, and I went to Columbus with my boss. So it was just me and my boss, who I love dearly. He's great. But I had never spent that much time with him alone, and I learned a lot about him.
Right.
He gets very hangry.
Feed him.
Feed him. You need to feed him. So we went out to, so when we went to the hotel. We landed about 3 o'clock. We got to the hotel probably 3:30. Checked in, and then we had to go to the office in Columbus because we had a couple meetings. But by the end of the meetings, I could tell he was ready to eat. So
Right.
we went to dinner, and the waitress was taking too long.
Ooh, that's never a good sign when you're hangry.
No. So this man literally got up and went over and was like, "Ma'am, we need to order now." And I was and I'm sitting there oh my God, here we go. And so what was weird is every single restaurant we went to until my friend came and took us to local restaurants that he likes, we had to wait. Not okay. It was not okay. So we got to the airport to come home, and we're sitting in the airport. The flight gets delayed 3 times because of weather. God. We finally get on the flight at 6. And we're in the air for probably 2.5 hours, maybe, about 2.5. And it's an hour and 15-minute flight.
Why 2.5? What did it do?
They were avoiding weather.
Oh, they were avoiding all the fog and craziness.
And thunderstorms and whatnot. Yeah. And so before we got on the flight, I'm like, do you think you might want a snack? And he was like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, I'm going to go get you a snack.
What'd you get him?
I got him barbecue chips.
Oh, okay.
And I got myself some pretzels with peanut butter in the middle.
Oh, nice.
But I was like, I am not getting on this flight.
Those are called combos, aren't they?
They were combos, yeah.
No,
Right.
no, they're not combos. Not the ones with the cheese in the middle.
Yeah, but they have some with peanut butter in the
Oh,
middle.
maybe. But it was it was definitely a trip, but I had a really good time. It was really great. I finally got to meet a whole bunch of people that I've been Zooming with in person. And there funny story. So at the end of the evening, the photographer was still, snapping photos and whatnot. And so I got a photo with the CEO's wife, or like my boss's wife.
Right.
And he sent me an email.
Of course, he always goes for the women because, gay men got to get in with the women.
Look, we were just like standing there together. Just it is what it is. But he sent an email and he's like, and he copied his wife and he's like, Mindy, I couldn't find a photo of us at Gala, but at least someone got a really good photo of a really good photo with my wife, and sent me a picture of me and his wife and copied his wife, and I'm like, hilarious. Like, sorry. That was not my intention.
Oh my God. It's always fun though.
Yeah, but
It's
it was
fun.
nice. And like, I felt like me and Anthony had a really nice time to just connect as people and not just, supervisor to employee. So yeah, we had a good time.
Well, that's good. And how did you find Columbus though? I mean, because my nephews and nieces live in Cleveland, so they live in Ohio somewhere. I know Cleveland is closer to the north. But how did you find Columbus in general? Do you have a general opinion of Columbus?
Yeah, no, it was definitely, people were nice, very nice.
I mean, it's the Midwest.
Yeah.
Sort of, kind of.
No, it was really beautiful. To this day, I'll still say I think New Haven is more historic and beautiful. But at the end of the day, it was fun and the food was good. Surprising to me was they had a heavy focus on seafood as a landlocked state.
Right. As a landlocked. Well, I mean,
but the food was good. And
you sure it's not lake food?
I hope not.
Because I mean, they're literally right next to
lobsters?
Lake Erie.
All right, so for our first meal, me and Anthony, I was like, Anthony, we had a rough meeting on Friday, and so Anthony was like, let's go get a drink, let's go get something to eat. And I was like, yes, please. And so we went out and he's like, well, what do you want? And he tried to take me to some bougie ass place. And I was like, no, I just want like a burger place. Like, let's go to a burger place, get a drink, and just be chill. So we went to this like burger place called Alley Burger. Everybody was raving about it. And we get there and we're looking at all the burgers and they look really good. We order drinks and then me and Anthony end up he gets salmon stuffed with crab meat and I get lamb chops. I'm like, what the fuck? We went to a burger place because we wanted burgers and we ended up getting like
completely something different.
But it was really
uppity
good.
meals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was really good. But
One of these days, I'm going to actually take the initiative to, at some point, take the drive out to Ohio and go visit my nieces and nephews and sort of kind of, take in some of the culture. But I've never been to Ohio before.
Nice.
So.
I've driven up there. It's like a 13-hour drive.
Oh God, no thanks. Avello, do you fly to Ohio? Can we?
not yet.
Not bad. It was a nice drive. I did it by myself a couple years back.
You do a lot of things by yourself,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
fun.
including balls.
Yeah, apparently.
That was a rough start for you
That
today.
was yeah.
So I'm glad that you had a good time. I'm glad that it was a successful trip by all definition and
Yeah, except for the trip home, but
yeah, I mean, but it happens. So I'll tell you. So locally, because we had a lot of fog and a lot of storms, Avello canceled a lot of flights, or a lot of flights that had flown out couldn't fly back.
oh, I didn't think we were gonna get back.
So
Honestly.
a lot of the because a lot of the airline stewards, or do they call them stewards?
I think so.
Yeah. So I know a lot of them. So they were like, yeah, dude, we were like stuck in our destination like hub for like hours because they would say, okay, you're flying out, and then they would cancel the flight.
Yeah, no, it was funny. Well, we were sitting in the airport and we had gone to lunch and we got to the airport and then we were sitting in a restaurant knowing that we had to wait for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And then they kept delaying. And then finally, Anthony and I were like, well, let's just get closer to the, gate. So we were literally sitting in like an area that people used to work right outside the gate, and delay. And we don't have the headphones on. We're sitting there working and talking to one another. And next thing I know, I look up, I'm like, Anthony, the terminal looks kind of empty.
Y'all the only ones going into
and
Connecticut.
So I get up and I run over and I'm like, oh shit, they're boarding. And they had just boarded the last row. And I was like, literally, Anthony, let's go. We got to go. They were about to give away our seats. We had heard nothing. And we were sitting right outside the gate. No, like, we're boarding, nothing.
Welcome to Ohio.
We almost
when you
literally
get caught up on work, you just lose track of stuff.
maybe.
Yeah. They were knee deep, nose deep
Nose
into that
deep.
I
computer.
was more concerned about getting him a
Fist
snack.
than getting on your flight. And you, Jaybird, how are you?
Good. Well, not bad. Decent weekend. Dealing with some
Allergies.
allergies today.
Is that why you're like?
Yeah. I keep all that post nasal nonsense with all these allergies.
I mean,
And
you
then
go
I sat
outside and you rub something, and it's just like yellow.
I sat outside on your picnic table like this, and my fingers were green. I was like, ah, shit.
Yeah, it's
it doesn't help.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, the
crazy,
pollen's
and everything is super bloomy. Like everything is just popping.
Dude,
Like I had nothing in my yard 2 weeks ago.
my grass, I finally had to. It's taken me 4 days because my back is still in pain. So I've had to cut it in sections
Right.
so that I can.
By the time you get to section 4, section 1 is already
It's ready to start again. So it's taken me almost 4 days, and then all the damn rain. So yesterday afternoon was the first afternoon that we had no rain.
Right,
for the
right.
first time in almost 2 weeks.
Right.
So we've been getting all this rain. My grass was almost insane. My wife let their dog out, and I lost them. So I was like, all right, time to cut the grass.
Listen, I cut my grass and it's already long.
Yeah. I was looking at it when I got off the car.
I was like,
Yep.
holy shit. It
All
looked
this
all
rain, it's
pretty when I cut
it's
it.
awesome for the grass, but
Yeah, but it's insane. I was like, I don't have the energy to get my lawnmower out, trek it up that hill because I have, I have to go all the way up the
incline.
hill, and then go to the front, mow, and then come back and then start going up and down this hill.
yeah.
To get the pretty lines. By the end of the day, or by the time I get from
Don't give a
left
shit
to
about pretty
right,
lines.
I'm dead. I'm
Yeah.
destroyed. But me, I decided that I'm going to take on another project outside, right in the in the midst of spring, and well. So I'm extending my beautiful patio that I did. I'm going out another 13 feet by 16.
Holy shit.
So I've ordered all the
But he's
The
doing
blocks.
it himself.
yes. So I might need diggers, but Jay can't dig because of his back, and he can't lift because of his back. So I'm on my own.
On your own.
I could come and direct you.
I mean, no, that's what we have Trish for. She comes and supervises. Like I asked her one day, "Can you come by and help? We need people to just come do." And she goes like, "Well, I'll go and supervise." And that's exactly what she did. She stood on my front porch, watching me and my friend go at it on the sidewalk.
I cheered you on.
And you missed the spot. There's a little corner you forgot to get the concrete there. Go hit that one.
Yeah.
I was like, this bitch. She's about to
I
get cut.
gotcha. Yeah, but as for me, the weekend was pretty. Oh, it was a busy Saturday,
Yeah.
which was good. So I ended up going to New York to hang out with some friends, and that was it. It was long overdue. I haven't really done like a night out in the city, and
I
quite a
can't
few
tell you
years.
when the last time
Yeah.
it was that I was in
Yeah.
the city.
so so our mutual friend Ricky, who does short films, he's an artist.
Yeah,
He's,
Ricky's been on the
yeah.
show before.
He's been involved in the community as always. Was invited to a short film, which was a short film festival in New York City called Fruits on Film.
Fruits on film.
Which is the Fresh Fruit Festival, LGBTQ Short Film Fest.
So let me ask you, I'm getting the sense that fruit has a completely like different meaning, like
Yep.
fruity,
Fruity in a sense.
like
and,
fruity festival, like gay festival.
Yeah. I think they played on words on that one,
Right.
which was nice. So I got there a little late. After all the viewings, however, it was nice. It was nice to be a part of it, and actually they had a small panel, a small panel. Boy,
You got Obama in your back seat, man. What's wrong with you?
these guys are
No.
horrible.
I shared that with you because those were some photos from my trip. If you want to share them,
No. I will leave them in the phone.
you got Obama in the back.
You got Obama in the back. How dare you?
You guys are.
Secret Service.
I can't. Anyway, you were saying
anyhow, so yeah,
The
so
Fruity Festival,
We did
uh-huh.
the festival. Did a short panel at the end of Fruity Festival.
This- there's double meaning into that name. That's all I gotta say.
And then I had another friend who was doing a art show, and it was multimedia mix. So there was music involved, there was art involved, there was food involved, there was artists just selling different items. So we went to that event after the fact, after the Fruits and Film Festival, hung out there for a bit, and then I ended up going to a friend's 50th birthday party after that. So
She
it
was
ended up-
traveling.
it
this
ended up
one.
being a pretty nice night. And then at the end of the night, we ended up going to a bar in the city, Ties, which is a bear bar.
I love ties. Oh my god,
Nice.
the
Yeah,
memories
it's
in ties.
It's fun. It's fun.
The
So-
memories.
and then we ended up hanging out till they closed at like 4 a.m, and then I drove back home.
Oh, I've done some sketchy shit at 4 a.m.
4
in
in the
ties.
morning. Yeah, but
You're like one of the last people at the bar, and you're just looking at the last person at the bar, and like, you're starting to look cute because I'm starting to.
one more drink.
One more.
Do you want to buy it for me?
No.
I didn't look at you all night, but you're all that's left. So let's just go.
No, so it was it was nice, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Oh,
Yeah, I actually I was at the bar and I had like 3 or 4 different guys come
Right.
up to me, and literally I'm sitting with Rick at a table, 3 or 4 different guys. Hey, handsome, how are you? What are you doing here? And I'm like, no, I'm good.
I have a song.
I'm good.
I have a song.
I haven't
that
had
comes
enough drinks with.
I have a
the
song that comes to mind. Ese huevo quiere sal. Ese
Yeah,
huevo
you
quiere
quiere
sal.
sal.
That dick wants salt.
Okay.
It wants something salt. It's like caramel. Caramel. You just need to like. Have you ever had cracked caramel?
Oh boy.
There is this place in New Haven. It's over in East Rock section. They make what they call cracked caramel. So it's like caramel with like salt and chocolate and like cracker or cookie or like a pretzel type of thing. It's like crack in your mouth. It is so good.
Kind of reminds me of donkey balls.
Donkey balls.
Yeah.
You can't just say something like that and not explain that shit.
Explain it.
Talk about.
No, I've talked about this on the show before. When I went to Hawaii, there is a gay couple,
Of course.
and they own a store. I think it's called Donkey Balls.
Donkey balls.
It's a candy store, but all of the candies are balls. And it's like caramel chocolate balls, coconut chocolate balls, but they're all like sexy terms, they're like salty, sweaty balls is what it's called, but it's like,
oh my god.
like sea salt chocolate,
It sounds so
balls,
good.
but
So
they're
they
called
play
like,
on, they have the name play.
yeah. So and then they have like ones filled with like
Oh, it's like Puerto Rico.
marshmallow, and it's like
It's a very, very small round Twinkie.
Yeah. So
it's a dark chocolate cum filled ball.
Oh my god, yummy.
So in Puerto Rico, there's an ice cream store, and there's several actually in my hometown. One of them is famous for doing flavored ice creams, and they do everything from like arroz with gandules to rose petals to
Rice and beans.
rice and beans.
Rice
like,
and pigeon peas.
yeah,
actually.
pigeon peas flavored ice cream, like all this craziness
So you know how you like my mother's rice? You can have that in ice cream.
in an ice cream form. There's another.
He doesn't know how he
Yeah,
feels about
yeah.
that. The face said it all.
Yeah. There's another ice cream store they opened up that they call Las Tetitas de Lares, which is titties. So
Right.
the ice creams are bagged in they're they're in a baggie and they look like a little titty with a nipple, and you just cut the nipple off and you eat the ice cream.
Oh, well, that's an interesting concept.
And they're really famous out there as well too.
You're scaring
and recently,
me over here.
I'm watching the hand. And recently, I found out that there's I don't know if it's in my hometown, but in Puerto Rico, there's a store where they do penis sized. I think it's like a donut, and then they cover it with all the toppings you like marshmallow and drizzled caramel and and it's
Trisha's face. I
Yeah.
can't.
I'm just trying to find some of the names. So yeah, they've got like salty balls. They've got, let's see here, classic milk, chocolate balls, toasted balls.
the toasted ball.
Toasted balls.
That's
Stepped on balls.
stepped- well,
Yeah, no.
you got to
but-
do that with boots on.
I like when people, I like when people have an opportunity to open a business and get creative with some of the things that they sell, because we all know ice cream is ice cream, right? Or gelato is gelato. And, but when you find a spin to it, like for example, Creamstone, Creamery or something like that. Cold Stone Creamery.
Cold Stone. I'm like,
Right.
what?
So it's like, it's ice cream, but they're taking it in liquid form and throwing it on a slab that's like frozen and making ice cream out of it.
I think, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been in so long.
So I mean, so they just come up with very creative ways to sell the same thing, and that's, to me, that's ingenuity, and that's people thinking outside of the box, And it's kind of hard for you to think outside of the box in most corporate settings when you work in a cube, but you have to give it to these people. They are very creative. Like, for example, you went to this place in Hawaii, and this particular business is obsessed with balls, and he just sort of kind of took that and ran with it. And I think that's freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
I wish I was that, ballsy and creative.
You are, but it usually has to do with home improvement.
Well, that is true. Oh my
The
God,
D
I
cake.
love it. The D cake.
I mean, I'm down.
I'm down.
I would totally do
Now you
that. I would totally do that.
So there's actually a couple of TikToks now. They're kind of becoming famous on the TikTok side, because the guy that serves the desserts, like, he'll sit there and he'll have the container with the cake on it, and he's like, "So what do you want, honey?" And obviously he's a sister, and he just acts it up and plays it up, and he's like, "Oh, you want this? I'm sure you want this," and "Oh, I'm sure you. How about this? You want?"
So he
that?"
gets very
Yeah,
suggestive in
very
his techniques
suggestive,
for selling.
So he plays into it, and I think it just
You
part
want
of
a
the
little cream, baby?
Yeah, a little cream, baby. So it plays into the whole service and fun part of the cakes as well. So I gotta find out where it's at. I forgot what town it was located in.
This is a weird day for me. I started with a mic in my face, and I'm ending with a mic in my face.
Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Because I mean, I have to say, props to GayTalk for giving you 7 years of experience before you got on that mic today. But tell us a little bit about that, because I mean, you were great, girl. I mean, you were killing it.
Well,
You have more energy in that video
I do on the show.
than you do sometimes on the show. But anyway, tell us a little bit about that. And I
So-
mean that with a lot of love.
Yeah, so the Great Give, which is a 36-hour giving program from the Community Foundation of Greater New Haven, started today. And basically 500, I believe, in 24 nonprofits participate. And it's a time basically where there are all these incentives for people to give, like matches, for example. If you hit a certain amount of donors or a certain amount of money within a certain hour, then you could get a match through this or through that. Or if you're an organization that's led by, say, a person of color, there's a match you can get for that. Like, there are all these different things that you can get through the Community Foundation by participating. And so today launched it. And of course, Anthony could not attend. And as things start to progress at the theater, it turns out that I have to be his replacement when he can't.
He totally should have just went there and did the whole interview in his Obama voice.
Oh, he's done that. He did that the first time.
Oh, okay, but anyway.
So this would have been his third Great Give interview, but I had to step in and do it for him. And of course, it had to be in person, so I went into the studio and I sat down, put on the headset and the mics in my face, and we just went for it. And basically, I just sat there and I talked about the Schubert and all of the great things we're doing, all the great things we're doing under his leadership, and all the things that we want to do. And it was a great experience. It was a lot of fun, but at the same time, it's just like, yeah, I had to get up. I had to like put on a jacket, like a sports coat, and go and sit and.
You had to be human.
Yeah, I had to be human, and I had to talk about.
Here, she can just be gay.
Yeah, 100%.
There, she had to be
human.
human.
I did talk about being gay.
You did.
Even though it was about the Schubert, I did,
Right. No, but I think you talked about it in the context of you were talking about how impactful theater is for a lot of different people and for many different reasons. And for you, as a gay man, which is basically the point you were trying to make, it's always great to be able to go and see shows that, in a sense are...
It's good to be able to go to a show or go to a theater and be represented on the stage.
Right.
And whether or not it's you that's represented or it's another or a community or culture that's represented, it gives you an opportunity to learn something you didn't know.
Right.
And to open your eyes to a world that otherwise you would not know about or would not have compassion for.
Right.
And that's why I made that segue, and that's why I talked about it, because really at the end of the day, that's kind of what kept me in theater.
Yeah, and she wanted to sort of kind of sell herself too. I'm the gay boy. Come get me. I'll be there. Come see me at the Schubert. Give during the Great Give. You never know.
Yeah.
You might get something in return.
I think the favorite thing, one of the favorite things I said during that interview was, well, come on, help make my job a little bit easier by giving during the Great Give.
But no, overall, we watched the interview. He came over. He was like, oh, look at this. And I'm like, oh. So I just sat there and I'm like, this bitch, why can't she do this on the show?
I do that on the show.
I'm messing with you. I'm
that-
fucking with you. No, but you did a really good job. You looked amazing. You looked very sharp in your suit. And you did great. I thought you did fantastic.
What was funny was after the interview, I think, so our director of communications and advertising, this was my first like live interview, and
Right.
he had to schedule somebody who was no longer with the Schubert prior to when Anthony couldn't be there, and it was a disaster. And so I think he was waiting for a disaster.
Waiting for the shoe to drop.
Yeah. And then at the end of the interview, we walked out. He's like, "Oh my God, you were really good." I was like, "Oh, thanks." He was like, "Yeah, you're not like one of those people that it's just like,
No, because why?
gay talk."
Right. No, well, not necessarily gay talk, because of something that I said very early on when this started the show. We want no dead air. Talk, and try not to like, You remember that?
That was a long time ago.
We were literally sitting.
We never had dead air though.
No, we never did, because we can't shut the fuck up. I mean, we just keep going. We don't have an opportunity to do that. Yeah. No, but I, like we had, when we first decided we were going to do a podcast, we said, there's nothing worse than listening to a show and every other word that comes out of the host's mouth is It is horrible. So if you can catch yourself doing it and you can consciously work at not saying that, slow yourself down if you're speaking too fast, like I do sometimes, you will avoid trying, doing the ums.
I did feel like a little bit of a prima donna though at one point.
Of course you did.
Because I did not know. So at the top of the interview, he was like, "Oh, so we always start these interviews out with a poem or a song," and I was not made aware of this, but evidently, like, it was a thing that our advertising communications person knew and did not tell me. So I found out, and I just straight up looked at him, and I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know about this. And I was like, well, I was unaware of this.
Yeah, he was very diplomatic about it, but then he was like, well, why don't you sing it? He was like, oh, honey, you don't want to hear me sing. I was like, actually, he's not wrong.
I've got like 3 songs that I can sing at karaoke, but karaoke's a different beast.
Yeah, it's, I do a lot of things on my mixer to make, to make
it's
people
like
sound amazing.
Autotune, like.
Yeah, it's like, because there's nothing worse than bleeding ears in any venue.
I was like, I will read this for you.
But anyway, wow, time flies. 30 minutes in. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we'll jump into our dish. So we'll be right back. All right. We are back from the break. Thank you so much for letting us do that. We needed it because that gave us an opportunity to have a meeting. And a meeting. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
She
I
was.
feel like he's angry about it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Forgive us that we didn't invite you to the boardroom, but we're back and we got our refreshments. So
Well, when you don't prepare an opener, there are consequences.
but anyway, so we're back. So we're gonna jump into our dish, obviously. So I have a question for the group. Do any of you know what swatting is?
SWATting?
SWATting, yes. That's not what it is. I don't have a fly on me, bitch.
Oh, that was just a SWAT.
Oh, come here. Let me try. Whoops.
Smack my face.
I think nowadays we have to be real careful when certain terms are mentioned because they don't mean what we're used to anymore.
Oh my God. Sorry. I know you're going to, but so somebody today was talking about.
They swat at you?
No, they were talking about terms from back in the day. And I said my boss was bougie. And he was like, well, in my day, they would say he was dandy. I was like, that means something completely different. You can't say he's dandy.
Oh my God. Do you remember? Wait, where is it? Our gay talk term, you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
When
term
we
book.
literally went through that whole book, but there's
Where's my book?
there is so much. It's somewhere in here.
Yeah, when I first started,
It's up there. It's up there.
When I first
It's up
started, I
there.
used to read a term off of the book.
Yeah. So that poor thing, it's in 3 pieces at this
It's a
point.
puzzle.
So let me just show everyone. This is what we used to call the gay talk. It's called the gay talk. That's what it is, gay talk, right? And within it, there was a whole bunch of like different terms that we would read and give everyone a gay talk term for the episode. The problem was there's so many problematic terms in there and so many racist or sexist or just things that you just don't want to say that it was hard to keep track of which ones we couldn't talk about or which ones we talked about in the book. But Nick is looking for D&D. Is that what you're looking for?
Oh, yeah, I can look for dandy.
Because, oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, I remember the gay talk term. Brought to you by unicornbooty.com.
Unicorn booty.
That used to be a website. It was one of my favorite news websites. And then it went out. Hornet.com decided to take the website out of commission. And I'm like, what? Hornet is like another dating app. Well, they call it a dating app, but it's very similar to like Grindr and the Scruffs and, all the other ones. But they used
They
to
don't have dandy.
Oh, imagine that. So, well, we know he's safe.
They do have Dangle Queen, though.
Dangle Queen. What is Dangle Queen?
Dangle Queen is a gay exhibitionist.
A dangle
Johnny
queen.
was a Dangle Queen. He used to get busted for showing his, skipping that term, penis to little old ladies in the vestibule.
Oh my God.
Synonym, dangler. A dangler without jewels is like a night without stars. 2, man who wears tight trousers in order to show off his crotch contours.
I feel like that's everybody at Ties.
3, homosexual who wears long dangling earrings.
Dangler.
Queen.
Dangle Queen. Okay. Oh my God, do you miss
I
that?
do kind of. We got to get that rebound.
We sure do. That book is, oh my God, that book carried us to like 2.5, 3 years.
Thanks, Amazon.
Oh my God, what a find! But anyway, so the term, the term swatting. So
That's right. That's what we were talking about.
we were talking about. Let's bring it back, boys. So the term swatting is something that's used to describe the act of someone calling and reporting something egregious on your behalf and having a SWAT team show up at your house and try to like freaking break down your doors. So basically, it's a malicious act. Basically, so someone does you are a reporter, like in the story that we're about to cover, and people don't like what you're reporting. They don't like you, and they attack you online, and they call authorities and say that something is happening or that you're doing something, and they send a SWAT team to your
So
house.
swatting.
Swatting.
Gotcha.
That's basically what it is.
So creating a scenario where they would actually send SWAT out to your house.
To your home.
That's
right.
insane.
It is. And you know, the sad thing is it's not uncommon. You know, there are, given the political climate of everything that's going on in today's world, you know, with, you know, trans activists trying to get their bearings and fighting all of these crazy, you know, awful legislation that's trying to, you know, that many states are trying to pass nowadays. It's not uncommon for people who hate our community to do things like this. Can you imagine like a SWAT team bringing down your door while you're trying to cook your HelloFresh and enjoy your TV show?
I'd be like, honey, wrong house.
No.
You've got the wrong. Oh, but you can stay.
Well, it depends.
The rest got to go.
Right. I mean, can you imagine, Jay? What would you do if they don't even knock on your door? Because it's not like
No, they break it down.
they literally they break it down and break into your house and try to, like, you know, end your life. What would you do?
Well, you know, that becomes a challenge and dangerous. For instance, as a law-abiding, gun-carrying person, if somebody breaks down my door, the first thing I'm doing is grabbing a gun.
Right.
Right. So that could end up with some pretty dire consequences.
Right. It could escalate very quickly.
Yeah, depending on who it's happening to and why.
Right.
Funny, and I'll make it short. Funny story, but similar too. Years ago, my cousin used to work. He's passed since, but he used to work as a manager for a fast food restaurant in Stamford, right?
In Stamford,
Connecticut.
Okay.
So mid shift, he would, you know, do the bank run or gather the monies and go out and try to get the bank run done either during the day, or he would take it home with him. And on the way in the morning, he would. So one day he jumps into his vehicle with the pouch, you know, the zipper pouch for the deposits, and he would slip it in between the seats and then go home. And one day he jumps in, and some guy jumps into the passenger side of his car, or opens the door and reaches into the car and tries to grab him. And all my cousin did was, I mean, he looked back, boom, 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 3 punches straight to the face, broke the guy's nose.
Lord have mercy.
It was a cop. And they thought he was dealing drugs, and they were trying to arrest him, but never at any point did they identify themselves.
Right.
So you say SWAT, I mean, it's not the same thing, but kind of the same thing.
Well, it sort of kind of
So,
is.
yeah.
It's a scary situation to find yourself in. I
so-
mean, can you imagine?
Yeah, so my cousin ended up getting locked up for breaking the cop's nose
Oh, poor
over the
thing.
weekend. And then,
But he shouldn't have been locked up.
yeah, but, unfortunately, you know,
It's Stanford.
it's a Latino,
He's a
and he broke
Latino.
a white man's nose, and
Yeah, it's
and there were reprecations.
right.
So
There's hell to be
yeah,
paid. When
but
that
basically after everything was cleared and done, and he got his attorney in, they were like, they were trying to charge him with assault of an officer and this and that. Guy never even identified himself. He just opened my door and jumped into my car.
happens. Right.
What am I supposed to do? Allow
Like
him
not
to
fight back.
Yeah, exactly. So you're talking about kids born in Brooklyn. Our first reaction is to hit.
Right. We
You
hit.
know?
We
We hit, and then we ask
apologize.
questions.
We
Yeah.
apologize later.
Yeah. So
What about you? What would you do if you
It's
were in a
scary, it's
situation
scary.
where someone broke your door down and like a shitload, like 12 SWAT team, a team of 12 just rolls up in your house?
rolls up? Nick will probably shit his pants.
No. Honestly, the sad truth is
You probably cry.
No, I'd be like, this probably wouldn't happen to me.
He wouldn't be that lucky. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying, like, no, not to be insensitive, but like, the reality is, I am a white privileged guy,
Right.
and that would probably never happen to me. And if it did, I probably wouldn't have to deal with what other people would have to deal with.
Right.
True.
I mean,
you never know. People could
you
be
just never know.
assholes. Yeah.
But I mean,
Fine, but basically what I would do, and can you put the camera on me? No,
okay, go ahead.
I'd be
It's
like,
on.
I swear I didn't do it.
I can't see you. Your butt needs to be over here.
Face down, ass up.
I didn't do it.
There you go. Oh my God, that's hilarious. No, it's a serious thing because here's why I think about this all the time. We talk about a lot of controversial things that are happening in our community on the show. I can only imagine what I don't even know what I would do. I would probably just start crying, get all nervous, and be like, "Oh my God, don't kill me." Or I'll probably fire up the grill and be like, anybody want some burgers? Because, that's how I do.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, let's make a party. Y'all here
Also,
already?
you're paying for that door.
Of course you are.
Yeah.
They probably won't even have to bust the door down because half the time my doors are always open.
True.
Either the back door or the front door,
door.
it's always open.
Definitely the back door.
When I'm home, my doors are always open.
Her
So
back
you can
door's
just-
always open.
Yeah, my back door is always open. But anyway, all joking aside, so the reason why I'm talking about this is because over the last 2 weeks, Montana, the state of Montana, actually banned or ejected, or what would you call that? Here I am saying,
Yep.
oh God, what would they say? They basically threw out a member of their of their legislature. And this person, her name is Zooey Zephyr. I hope I said that right.
Zoe Zephyr.
Zephyr happens to be a transgender woman. And, she had supporters at the state capitol because, again, Montana is also one of those states that was trying to pass legislation to ban some sort of support, whether that be because of, transgender, health related things that were being offered in that state that they're trying to make illegal. Whatever the case may be, she ended up getting removed from the legislature, and they didn't want to let her back. She's now suing to be able to go back to the chamber and continue to represent the people that elected her to do that job. She also happens to have a girlfriend who is a reporter and reports a lot on a lot of trans, bans that are happening throughout most of the states. And they tried to actually raid her. They tried to do a swatting on her, on the girlfriend. And it didn't work out. And the reason why it didn't work out was because the journalist herself anticipated that something like this could happen. She had it in the back of her mind that, given what I'm covering, given what I'm writing, there is a potential that some of these people that are extremists might actually attempt to do something like this. So she, in her local community, reached out to the police in advance and talked to them and said, here's what I'm writing about. Here's what I'm doing. Here's all the threats I'm getting. There's a potential that someone might want to call in and have you go to my home and bust my door down and attempt to do something, because they might claim that I either have bombs in my house or that I'm a pedophile or whatever the case may be. So they tried that, and unfortunately it didn't work. Her name is Erin Reed, and she's a trans activist, an independent journalist who's often attacked online. She had been tracking anti-trans legislation across the country, and most recently, she was targeted by far-right extremist groups because she is in a relationship with Zephyr. Did I say that right? Zephyr, okay. Who has gained national attention over the past 2 weeks for being censured by the Republican lawmakers in the Montana legislature. And then I start thinking to myself, like, how fucked up are we that we get to the point where we're seeing record-breaking members of state legislatures that are part of the LGBT community being elected by their constituents And we're seeing this type of activity. We're seeing member after member being kicked out. We had the
Tennessee Three.
the Tennessee Three that were kicked out.
Yeah, you have Santos sitting still in office in New York City, right?
Go figure, right? But it's scary, and we've gotten to a new level in political arsenal, which is what I call it, right? It's like people attacking someone because they don't like who you are or what you represent, or the fact that you're fighting literally for your life, and then they try something like this. It's scary. It really, truly is very scary. And that this is the world that we live in, and where you're trying to do right by your constituents, you're trying to do right by your community, and people who don't agree with you resort to this kind of tactics that could potentially put your life in danger. Because like you said, you're a law-abiding gun owner, right? And someone breaks into your home, have no idea who they are, you could kill someone.
Yeah, or be killed.
Or be killed in the process because you have a weapon. And in a state like Montana, I wouldn't doubt if any of these two individuals had weapons or guns in their home. But it's fucked up.
Yeah.
That this is what we've come to in this country, that we can't have political differences or a difference of opinion and be able to discuss it like mature adults and find common ground.
Yeah, I think the bigger problem is not just about the swatting.
Right.
It's about the fact that we can't have healthy conversation in the House and or the Senate. Instead, when somebody says, I don't agree with you, they kick you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the bigger problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And the fact that they can actually censure an elected member that represents a district, whether that's at the state level or at the federal level, it is alarming.
Yeah, especially for they're censoring the person because of their sexuality and orientation.
Right.
Not because they've broken a law like many other people have.
Right.
Not like,
Right.
not like, again, Mr. Santos in New York City, who completely lied about his history.
Everything.
Technically, yeah, you should say everything.
Right.
Yet he's still in office.
Right.
And then you have people that are actually there with the credentials and with the ability to do the work that they need to do, but because it's a majority of assholes in the chambers.
I miss my ex coworker Alice. She used to call everybody an asshole hippie. I loved her. I miss that word, asshole hippie.
But
anyway.
it's insane, and then you throw into the mix now all this swatting nonsense.
It's crazy.
So,
it is freaking crazy. I mean, can you imagine if someone sent like a SWAT team to like Partners? We're all sitting there having a gay old time, and somebody says, "Hey, there's a hostage situation, and Partners send the SWAT team." And before you know, it's like all these queens are on the floor like screaming bloody murder because they think they're gonna get, It's scary. Can you imagine Dave? Because Dave always stands at the door.
No SWAT team wants to go against Dave.
No.
Oh my God!
No.
Get out! Get out!
It's. I mean, we're laughing about it, but this is no laughing matter. This is scary. It just makes me think. Sometimes
It's
and
then unfortunately, with the state of things nowadays, a SWAT team comes into your house or a place of business, and you have no idea what's going on because it's a swatting incident. With all these killings, all these needless killings, you could kill someone just by a heart attack. You know what I mean?
Oh, I agree.
You know, I mean, we're laughing about the whole thing at the bar, but imagine 12 people rushing with machine guns or AK-47s telling you to jump on the floor. You have no idea what the hell's going on.
Well, you know what I think is
worse?
worse?
It just creates that PTSD syndrome
Yeah.
right off the bat.
Right.
When you look at like everything that's going on in the world, and we talk about, did you guys look or see anything from the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
I saw
heard a few
clips.
things. I
I
haven't
didn't watch
seen
it,
them.
but I saw clips.
So it has become almost like a laughing stock. You know what I mean? It's not even like what it used to be. I mean, like, it used to be something where, like,
It was a prestigious event.
yeah, it was prestigious. But this literally became a roast. It was a roast of Biden. It was a roast of
But I feel
Kamala
like
Harris.
I feel like that's what it's been for the past, like, I would say 15 years. It's like whoever's in power just sits there and allows these comics to roast you.
Yeah, but then you have Biden getting up and going, sending everybody off. And he was like, if you find yourself confused or disoriented, you're either drunk or Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh my God. Did he say that?
He said that.
Oh, but you know what? He's not wrong.
Oh, he's not wrong. But, like, at the same time, we're looking at this political system, and it's like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a correspondence dinner, and it's meant to be funny, and it's meant for people to, like, you know, just make joke of some of the, you know, serious things that we're really having issues with right now.
At one point, this comedian said, Roy Wood Jr., he said, you know, we have countries around the world where people are fighting to have, you know, retirement at 64. And here we are in the United States, and we have a president who's 80 and wants to work 4 more years. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's hilarious, though.
100%.
It is hilarious. But, you know, he did officially announce that he's running again. And, you know.
Well, he'll be walking.
He'll be walking, yes. That's so ageist. Anyway, but the beautiful thing about what just happened, what transpired, as soon as he announced, one of the first people that came out and said, I'm behind Biden, was Bernie Sanders. He immediately came out and said, the president has my support. It is not time to divide. He understood that. So my props to Bernie. My God, if Chris were to ever hear me say that, he'd probably be like, you know, Bernie has never been my favorite person, but I don't hate Bernie.
Honestly, at that point, we should just end the show on that.
Yeah.
No, like this is the last episode.
Yeah, done. No, but props to Bernie, because Bernie Sanders immediately came out and said, it's not a time to be divided within our own caucus. I'm backing the president. He has my support. And that's huge, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen with the shit show that is Donald Trump right now, and his, you know, his issues in New York, his potential indictments that are soon to come in Georgia, and all the other shit that's going on. So we don't even know what the clown car is going to be like when these primaries start, but we know it's going to be very messy. And if we can contrast that and have unity behind party on our end, I think we're good. And so props to Bernie. The world's coming to an end. We're clapping. I'm clapping for Bernie Sanders. But anyway, but yeah, swatting is not cool. It's kind of fucked up. People just really need to stop. Anything else, boys? I have one more thing to end it on, but I'll toss it over to you.
I have a couple things.
Okay. Toss it over to you.
First thing is going to be a negative thing.
Okay.
Second thing will be a positive thing.
Okay, camera's on you. Go for it.
All right, so first thing is Uganda.
Wait, I feel like we've talked about Uganda before
The KTG bill?
on several occasions, but anyway.
So Uganda's parliament passed an extreme anti-LGBTQ plus bill on Tuesday that includes lifetime prison sentence for engaging in same-sex sexual relations and death penalty in other cases. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because we are both a national but international show. We talk about everything, both here and around the world. Right. And I feel like we have been very much focused lately with the craziness that is America, which, to be fair,
it's crazy
to do.
Yeah,
it's fucking
crazy.
crazy. But I wanted to bring this up because, you know, there are still so many, you know, challenges and hills we have to climb around the world and not just here. This bill that was now it awaits signature from Uganda president. I'm not even going to try. Yoweri Museveni.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and it's going to become law. And this will not only potentially put people in prison for lifetime, for a lifetime sentence if they are caught engaging in homosexual acts, but if they are caught engaging in a homosexual relationship, they actually potentially have the death penalty in front of them.
Right.
Now, this, again, was passed in what would be their House and or Senate, and now is waiting for a signature.
And it's crazy, right? Because we've seen many nations, because while Africa is a continent, it's huge. We've seen many nations within Africa make headway when it comes to LGBTQ plus people, and to see now one of those countries try to outright ban or outright make it illegal for you to love someone in 2023 is very heartbreaking.
And to go a little deeper too, we talked about the death penalty surrounding this bill, but really when it comes to the death penalty, basically they're saying aggravated homosexuality, which means if you are HIV positive engaging in same-sex relations, you would be considered an aggravated homosexual, which means you would be up for the death penalty.
That's insane.
And that
because what happens if you're a heterosexual person with HIV engaging in
but does not address homosexuality.
Right. So, I mean, this is clearly an attack. So not only is this an attack on our community, it's also an attack on a stigma that has lived with our community since the 80s, when they first identified HIV and AIDS and called it GRID, right? Gay-related immune deficiency syndrome.
The biggest issue, though, is when you look at Africa, when you look at Uganda, the issue isn't homosexual relationships causing the spread of HIV. HIV is just rampant because they don't have the right healthcare or
the
access
tools and access to the tools.
healthcare they need.
Right.
If we were to be able to provide them with,
right.
preventative care and or care
education
and or care that just like mitigates the chance of transmission, which
right.
we don't do, that could help alleviate a huge problem within the HIV community in African communities generally, but we don't do that.
Right.
And that, I would say, is on the Western countries. I would say it's on Europe. I would say it's on America to
right.
provide those services, because we have them,
right.
but we're not doing it. And then we see all of these things that are pushed forward because people are so afraid of contracting HIV and or AIDS that they, put these people up for the death penalty because they're engaging in sexual activity.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading a bit on it, and it does reflect on this article that they have asked the lawmakers to reconsider the clarity of certain aspects of that specific bill. The new bill has made amendments to distinguish between those who identify or appear to be LGBTQ plus and those who actually engage in homosexual acts. Same-sex relations are already illegal in Uganda and warrant a maximum sentence of life imprisonment. The bill previously suggested imprisonment of those who identify as LGBTQ plus, but now states that those who do not act on their deviant proclivities will not be punished by law. So it's
still
changing,
so
but
basically I could be a queen, I just have to keep my asshole shut.
Basically,
no,
yeah.
it's not happening. That's messed up.
It's very
really
restrictive. Yeah, the bill remains restrictive, but and it's not any better. Is what a lot of the activists are stating.
The bill shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it shouldn't happen.
Period.
Yeah.
But there's some slight changes, but not quite in the right direction.
Right. Right.
So it's that's scary.
Yeah.
So I guess there was part of it also. There was also a lawmaker who also agreed to propose an amendment that would change the bill's decree of a duty to report by individuals.
Kind of like the Don't Say Gay bill.
Yeah.
Right.
So the duty to report acts of homosexuality.
Or some of the acts that have been passed, for example, in Texas, where you can now, get up to a $10,000 reward if you can positively confirm that someone actually took a minor or a person out of state to get an abortion.
Yeah.
Because it's illegal there. So you can actually, as a civilian, sue to get a reward because you identified that this parent may have taken their child out of state to get an abortion somewhere.
It's fucking crazy. And like, I think that we need to, as a show, continue to highlight,
of course,
all of this stuff. And that's why I brought it up. But in lighter news, have either of you ever used Grindr for anything but a hookup?
No.
Jay?
I was gonna say I've never used a Grindr for a hookup
Or a scruff.
Or scruff.
No, you know what? Honestly,
what's the other one? Filet of fish. There's another one.
Filet of fish. Wrong demographic.
Somebody's hungry. That's the McDonald's app you're looking at.
We love to see you smile.
No, there's another one called
I'm
something
loving
fish.
it.
Something fish.
Plantio fish.
Plantio fish.
Oh my God, filet of fish.
So, when at one time, once upon a time.
So anyway, I found this article and it is fucking hilarious.
I got lightheaded.
Where do you get the quickest responses? Grindr, right?
Yeah, I think so.
If somebody wants to engage with you, you get the quickest responses on Grindr. I am having an issue in my bathroom. My fucking sink is broken and it's leaking everywhere. I need a plumber right now.
So you go to Grindr?
I didn't go to Grindr, but someone did go to Grindr.
Did they find a plumber?
They didn't find a plumber. What they needed was a fucking flathead screwdriver. And they said, this is a really random request, but do you have a flathead screwdriver? And can you run it over to me? Because let's be honest, you're less than a mile away. And the guy was straight up like, huh? Yeah, I got one. Sure, fine. So he fucking ran him over this flathead screwdriver. Meanwhile, this guy's like, I really should have thought this through because this guy could kill me with his fucking screwdriver. I don't even know this guy.
Well, that was.
Oh my God.
So then in this article, there's a photo of him. He's like, I got the screwdriver. I fixed the sink. Like, that was it. There was no hookups. I don't know if there was any follow-up. Maybe there was. Maybe there was a connection.
Sucky, yeah.
But like, straight up like, have you ever, or would you ever think, be like, my fucking sink is broken? You know who responds real quick? Grindr. Do you have a flathead screwdriver?
I mean, I could see a gay person going to Grindr versus going to Angie's List, and finding someone who they don't know. I don't know.
Craigslist no longer a thing?
Craigslist is a thing, but you can't post some of the crazy like personals that people used to post before, like looking for, single, like it used to be SWM, right? Who is between the ages of 30 and 40, and SWM would be like single white male looking for SB, T, so single black twink or something. It was fucking crazy. It was like reading the personals in what was it again? Craigslist was fucking crazy.
I could just imagine that conversation though. Like, do you mean like a real flathead screwdriver?
Oh my God.
He's like, no, like literally, I need a flathead. And then he takes a photo. It's like, my sink is leaking. I need a flathead screwdriver. Not what you're thinking. The real thing.
Can you imagine the thought? This guy who has a screwdriver in his hand driving over to this person's home.
Not even. You're less than a mile away. You're probably around the corner.
And if you're in New York, you probably walk.
Run it
there.
over.
Right. Yeah. Or walk in Biden's case.
But that's kind of smart if you think about it. It's like the closest person. You may not like them, but do you have a flathead?
Wait a minute.
And we're not a match, but
she's installing a new patio. I need a digger.
I need a digger.
Let me go on Grindr. I need a digger. Let's go find one. This one looks like he can dig in many ways. Oh, Lord have mercy. Yeah, no. But that's good. Hilarious.
That's funny.
Love it. So you know what? that was a good story to end it on. Hilarious, funny. Go on Grindr, get yourself a handyman, a handy homo, or something like that.
Or just a flathead
Or-
screwdriver.
Or a different kind of screw.
Can you fix it yourself?
Lord have mercy. All right. Well, thank you. That was amazing. So that's going to be our show for today. So I'm going to toss it over to my boys so that we can wrap it up and bring it home. So why don't we start off with Trish?
All right, everybody. So we already talked about this, but Rep Zooey Zephyr sues after GOP bans her from House chamber over trans advocacy. Number 2, San Diego is opening a shelter for homeless LGBTQ plus youth. Number 3, as a gay teacher, students have never had a problem with my identity until now.
Right.
And that's Mama Ken's Minutes.
It is. Did
It's
I
only
forget
1
that at the
minute.
top? All right, everybody. That was Mama Kim's Minute. Jay?
And on this day in gay history, brought to you by us. Nah,
Just we,
just we.
they, them.
May 3rd, 2003, where Japan's first transgender official is elected. We're gonna.
That was 20 years ago.
20 years ago.
And here we are, Cypher's getting fucking censored
Banned.
and banned from
From
the local legislature.
I think everybody in Congress just needs to get Grindr and ask for a screwdriver.
Or a screw.
yeah. So as we go, Aya, oh crap,
Kamikawa.
Kamikawa becomes Japan's first openly transgender official after a successful election bid. In April 2007, she is re-elected for a second term.
Good for you, girl.
Go, girl.
That's how you do it.
Proud of her.
Yep.
So, all right.
And we move on to our announcements. And as always, if you love the show, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your favorite podcasting service. By subscribing, you get the latest and greatest of our show delivered right to your favorite device or web browser as soon as the episodes are published. You can also support us on Patreon. With Patreon, you, our listeners, can help to support the show with a pledged donation. The donations are collected monthly and can be in any denomination of $1 or more.
She was enunciating like crazy. You better work. And you slowed it down and you killed it.
Yeah,
Anyway,
we need that
Trish.
money. No, let's stop.
The moaning or the money?
The money.
All right, everybody. Before I say get the future method, don't forget the Great Give is going until tomorrow. If you are local and you want to support the Schubert Theater or another nonprofit, maybe the New Haven Pride Center that you are passionate about, do it. And you can do it by visiting thegreatgive.org. Visit today or tomorrow until 8 p.m. Make a donation, and there are plenty of matching gifts that help support all these local nonprofits. So with that said, don't forget, you can get the Future Method today. All of their products are doctor developed. Clean out without hurting your bum. Take confidence anywhere with the anal powder packs. And now increase your stretch goals with the 3-piece anal glass dilation kit. Visit futuremethod.com to purchase your life-changing bum cleanser accessories today.
Yes, queen. Jaybird.
And as always, it is time to put a ring on it.
Why do we put a ring on it again?
Oh, because
I don't put a rubber on it.
Oh, so you put a ring on it. Gotcha. So we have to marry your penis?
she's getting old. She needs to keep it hard.
Okay.
Thank
I'll
you.
I'll take that.
I'll use the ring. over
Actually,
the
I won't
pills.
take it. I'm just, but I understand.
Gotcha.
I am here to support.
And as always, our show is available on our website, GayTalk20.com under audio podcast. It is also available as a free download on Apple Cock.
Apple cock.
What
What the fuck?
It is also available as a free download on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Stitcher Radio.
All right.
Jesus.
Nick announces you can find us on social media,
missed
Facebook
that.
GayTalk 2.0, Instagram GayTalk 2.0. You can email us at GayTalk 2.0 at GayTalk20.com. Tom, don't be a J.
All right, ladies and gents. If you need to reach out to us, just head on over to our website, click on the Contact Us tab. There you can leave comments, suggest topics, submit a question for the cast, or an individual queen on the set. You can also call us and leave us any questions you might have via voice message, and we'll answer them for you on the show. Our phone number is 334-429-8255. Fuck, I just said the name. I was supposed to say 334 Gay Talk, but anyway, that's what it is. See, I fucked it up already. Anyway, we're thankful. We're amazingly ecstatic that you guys love and support us. We love you too. But thank you for joining us. That is going to be our show for the evening. Thank you and have a good night. Bye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of GayTalk 2.0. Tune in next time for more dish.